Hi, this is Kelli Serio reporting live from CPAC with Breitbart News Network, and I am here with Kevin Jackson, the author of Race Pimping. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you very much. Well, thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit about your book right here, and story behind it?
This book?
Yes, this book right here. Just something that you hope people would, that read it would take away from it,
Right.
and what inspired you to write it.
So I write political satire, and I really originally wrote this book, and it was going to be titled "How to Be a Race Pimp for Fun and for Profit." And I wrote it for white people because there are a lot of black race pimps, and I figured, Sharpton and Jackson needed a white guy in a fedora, to be a race pimp. And the joke of it was, we're spending all this money fighting the idea that America's a racist country, and we're just dumping trillions and trillions of dollars into it, and it's nonsense. So it was written as a ShamWow commercial for, why are you letting people get away with this? But the serious message in the undertone of the comedy is, you need to stop. So that's why I wrote it.
Okay. A lot of times you'll hear, I'm sorry. Sorry, yes. People say that, there's stereotypes in this country, and race is a really big issue. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, race is not an issue in America. In fact, there's so much more acts of kindness between people of color. Nobody cares, but politicians make it that way because that's where the money is. So if you look at the diversity in America, I think it's ridiculous that we even have this discussion. Now, what liberals do is they disguise it under multiculturalism, the idea that we should have all these cultures. Well, no, America's diverse, but we have one culture, the American culture. And the problem is we treat America like a battered woman, where every time somebody comes in, whether it's the Muslims, okay, let's all start practicing Sharia tomorrow. And we do these crazy things when we should be catering to the American spirit and the people that founded the country. And the reason that everybody wants to be here is because of that feeling about America, but we don't do that. So again, it goes back to the book, but it goes back to all of politics. Look at what's going on with ISIS. Look at what's going on with the budget. Why are we not discussing it? Well, because if we attack Obama, it's got to be because he's black. If you attack valid voter ID, well, you must hate, Hispanics. You're xenophobic. If you attack the idea of somebody wanting to practice a different form of law, oh, you're anti-Muslim. No, you're not. You're pro-American.
And you were very active during the Ferguson protests and on CNN. So can you tell us a little bit about that, what you were doing there?
Well, what I was doing there was trying to bring sanity to a conversation that was ridiculous. Nobody wanted to call Michael Brown a thug. He's a thug. And if you look at how they flipped that situation, suddenly we've got a cop doing his job and a kid who was essentially a thug, and the cop becomes the bad guy, and the kid has a new civil rights movement around him. What country do we live in where that happens? That's ridiculous. So CNN, of course, is framing it as Michael Brown, poor black kid, on his way to college and all this nonsense. And the fact of the matter is, he was a thug. And so, I went there essentially as a voice of reason, and Steve obviously liked my interviews, but I don't even think of this as a big deal. It's common sense, man. Michael Brown was a thug, Darren Wilson's a good guy, and the good guy loses, right?
Yes.
Right now, NBA players doing hands up, don't shoot, and all this other nonsense. That is not what this country's about.
I go to college at Cal State Northridge, and they had hands up, don't shoot posters all around the journalism department.
Yeah.
So was your influence while you were there, were you effective? I mean, were you catching backlash from everybody for what you were doing?
I got death threats. The new Black Panthers threatened to put 2 bullets in my chest and 1 in my head. And I said, bring it, bullets go both ways, So yeah, everybody wants to shut you down when you're not fitting the leftist narrative. But what I tell conservatives all the time is, if you show fear, and by the way, I'm not scared. So it wasn't like I wasn't not showing my fear. I'm not scared of the new Black Panthers. But if you show fear to a leftist, they will bully you into whatever way of thinking they want it to do. And so when I write my books and talk about stuff on media, the objective for me is to say, be strong in your conviction. There are millions and millions of people that support you, and the majority of Americans think like we do. Whether they know it or not is our issue.
All right, very good. And there was a story that Steve wanted you to say before, I believe, from Ferguson. Maybe I'm wrong. Something.
I think it was just around the interviews and being sort of the voice of reason, but I got a lot of stories. We just don't have time. We got to get married. This is, by the way, Match.com again We met, we married, we're good to go.
All right, well, this is Kevin Jackson. Here's his book, Race Pimping with Breitbart News Network. Thank you very much, Kevin, for talking with us today.